If your writing is a hobby or just for personal pleasure, the genres you choose are not significant one way or another. If you want to make a living, however, your choice of genre may make all the difference in the world. When I first started out, I wrote fantasy. I love fantasy. Whenever I'm in a library or a bookstore, I head for the fantasy shelf first. So naturally, I thought I should write what I love. I published several titles with 4 different small publishers, but none of my fantasy books went anywhere. I blogged my heart out on those books, wrote posts with excerpts, interviews with the characters, various aspects about my fantasy worlds, and the books didn't sell. I paid for a blog tour for Tournament of Chance, which helped the number of reviews, but the book itself didn't sell much. I wrote a long blog series about Norse mythology for Danny and the Immortals, but nobody bought the book. Now, I was tempted to blame the publishers for my lack of success because I didn't have much control over the covers or the price of the books. To be truthful, lack of control over the publishing process is why I'm not with any publishers anymore, but that's a subject for another episode. Even so, I've come to realize the publishers were not to blame for the failure of those books. As I got the rights to my books back, I rolled up my sleeves and got to work. I refurbished the stories a bit, designed new covers, and published them under my own label. When they still didn't sell, I changed the covers, reworked the blurbs, produced book trailers, and blogged about them some more. I changed my covers time and time again, hoping to catch a break. Alas, to no avail. I had no greater success than before. But then, I had my eyes opened. The rights to some of my books were still with one publisher, who put out a call for Christmas Regency stories. I shrugged and took a pass because I wrote fantasy and I didn't want to have anything to do with romance. Several of my fellow authors dove in, however, and I wished them luck. When those Christmas Regencies were published, they sold phenomenally well and raised the visibility of their authors. Although I knew I wasn't competing with these people, I still felt a twinge of envy. Here I was working as hard as I could, pedaling my bicycle as fast as I can, as it were, and I still couldn't get any traction. There's an old axiom that says, watch what the successful people do and do that. So I did. I switched genres and wrote a Victorian romance entitled The Ice Captain's Daughter. That book was almost an instant bestseller for me, and I never looked back. There are people who write fantasy and do very, very well financially. My hat is off to them. For me, I couldn't make my fantasy books sell. Readers enjoy my historical romance, and so I've made a career out of that instead. In the end, I would rather write books that get read than ones that don't. Next time, I want to talk about the benefits of working with small publishers and why I currently publish under my own label. See you then. Okay.